Hi, today is Friday, February 4th, 2022, and here's interesting 5-minute read for my daily English reading. It's about Weasle Words. Weasle is very agile, very fast, uh, very small, but it moves so fast. So with sleek, cunning. So these words mean some words that people use to avoid situations, to put in much nuance into their expression. It's cunning expression, double sword sort of. So let's find out 11 Weasle words to avoid in conversation at all costs. Actually, it's a 5-minute read, but when I read it with a voice, it will be like a 15-minute read. If I read without voice, if I read in my mind, it will be a 5-minute read. I've never read this article, so it's just a first time reading for me. Written by Leslie Ye. Yeah, sounds like Chinese. Ye means page or leaf. Sales deals are won and lost with words. Whether it's the words you use to paint a picture of the rosy future your prospect will live in once they purchase your product, or the accidental slip that offended your buyer and ended the relationship, what you say is critically important to the success of a deal, which is why you should stay far, far away from Weasle words. What are Weasle words? Weasle words are a colloquial term for words and phrases used to avoid being forthright. Weasle words are used when the speaker wants to make it seem like they've given a clear answer to a question or made a direct statement, which actually they've said something inconclusive or vague. Fortunately, Weasle words are easy to spot. Easy to spot. Stay away. Stay far, far away from. Easy to spot. Why shouldn't salespeople use Weasle words? Think about every press conference with a disgraced politician or executive you've ever seen. What did they have in common? Probably a lot of dodged eye contact, clicking camera shutters, and you guessed it, Weasle words. Dodged eye contact. You guessed it. You guessed it, with words. As a salesperson, you are already fighting an uphill battle to be seen as trustworthy. Fighting an uphill battle. Fighting an uphill battle to be trustworthy. Okay, trustworthy. The reality is that public perception of the profession is less than flattering, and fair or not, that's the assessment you will have to overcome. So why it's so suspicion in your prospect's mind right off the bat, right away, right off the bat. That's good expression. While you may not be using Weasle words to be evasive, the following words and phrases weaken your language and can set off alarm bells in buyers' heads. Yeah, it is called set off. alarm bells in buyer's mind, buyer's head. Buyer's heads. 11 Weasle Word examples and why you shouldn't say them. Well, when buyers ask you questions, give them straightforward answers. Starting your answer with a word commonly associated with equivocation automatically weakens your answers and makes you sound less sure of yourself. Well, equivocation, equivocal, sorry, the stress is in the O. Equivocal. Yes, sitting on the fence. 2. Research shows or experts say sales reps use these phrases to back up their claims about product usage, business pain, and expected ROI. Business pain. But you can stick these phrases in front of literally any claim. For example, experts say chewing sugarless gum increases concentration to make it sound more legitimate. Instead of alluding to faceless, nameless sources, cite your sources if you want to be truly persuasive. 3. I would say that many Weasle words are only weaselly in context. For example, if a buyer asks, "What's the best way to do X?" and you have a few options to choose from, you are well within your rights to qualify your response by indicating it's your own opinion. But when you are being asked a more specific question or one that's related to your product, steer clear from qualifying phrases which make it sound like you are waffling. Waffling. Like a sniffling, waffling. The smoke waffles through the vent. Answer questions like, "Can your product do X?" or "I'm trying to do a Y project. How can your product help me with this?" with a strong, active language instead of, I would say that. 4. Often. Like number 2, vague descriptions, equivocation. Like often raise questions in buyers' minds. Always be as specific as possible. 40% of our customer base, or almost every prospect in your industry I've spoken with in the last quarter, for example, often. 5. Probably or possibly. It's okay if you don't know the answer to something. For example, if your buyer will ask a highly customized implementation or is a very unusual use case, yes, you should know the answer to common prospect questions cold and might not have encountered their specific set of needs before. Just be honest about it. And don't leave it at, "I don't know." Explain why. "I haven't encountered your exact question before, and I want to make sure I give you a complete answer before I promise anything. Based on what I've seen before, your prediction. But again, I want to confirm that before I give you a definitive answer." 6. Some or many. I have to hurry up and go to work. So that's why I am trying to read it fast. So bear with me. 6. Some or many. These words are bad choice for the same reason you should steer clear of often. You don't add much legitimacy to your statements and raise more questions than they answer. They raise more questions. Raise more questions than they answer. When we call upon social proof as an answer, it's usually because we are trying to convince people to do something. Instead of saying, many of our prospects do X, explain why they did it, what results they saw, and how that connects to your prospect. Here's what that sounds like in a real sales conversation. You mentioned that you want to see X results. A customer I worked with a few months ago was facing similar challenges. We helped them implement Y and Z projects together, and they saw results. Given similarities, I think you would see benefits from this strategy as well. What do you think? That's good statements. That doesn't raise any questions, then they answer. 7. Could be. Another phrase used to waffle out of giving a direct answer, could be, makes you sound especially uninformed if you are trying to explain why something works the way it does or why an event occurred. Take a similar strategy to number 5. Provide as much context as you can, then promise to follow up once you have a more concrete answer. A concrete answer. 8. The user or the person. One of the hallmarks of Weasle words and phrases is that they create distance between the speaker and the listener, so the speaker can remove him or herself from the situation, therefore abdicating responsibility for less than desirable results. Think politicians' apology speeches. Sales reps who use detached language create a sense of distance between their product and the buyer. Always speak directly to the prospect about their situation. When you use product to do project, you will do X, Y, and Z. This creates a subconscious sense that product is already part of a prospect's world and is more engaging way to speak to buyers. A more engaging way to speak to buyers or prospects, okay? Subconscious prospects. 9. Leading or cutting edge. You might think that describe your product this way is the selling point. The thinking goes that if your product is the newest or most advanced, surely it's the best. But words like a cutting edge have become so ambiguous as to become meaningless. So ambiguous as to become meaningless. Many products have differentiators that could be described as somehow advanced or innovative. Differentiators. Instead, focus the conversation on why it helps the prospect. It only matters if features are innovative, if that newness provides value to your prospect they wouldn't otherwise have. Buyers will quickly lose interest if you ramble on about cutting-edge features that add nothing to their lives. 10. That being said, this sounds like you've given yourself an easy out. For instance, you might say our product has gone through several rounds of quality testing to ensure It's error-free. Foolproof. That being said, it's obvious that what's coming next, a statement like "we can never guarantee zero flaws," it's possible an issue was overlooked, and so on. You sound slippery, you sound aloof, you waffle through, slippery, you sound slippery, you sound slippery. So steer clear, so steer clear, so steer clear. So steer clear. 11. With all due respect, this phrase makes it clear you are about to argue with whatever your prospect has just said. While you can and should push back when appropriate, introducing your counterpoint like this will make you seem disingenuous and quickly raise the buyer's hackles. Instead, acknowledge their point of view with, "I see where you are coming from." Then ask the permission to speak honestly. "Can I offer a different opinion?" "I see where you are coming from." Once you've gotten their buy in a respectful way, you will be likelier to change their mind. Originally published September 15th, 2017. Updated September 15th, 2017. This is a good read. Thanks, Ms. Leslie. Yeah, you did a good job. I applaud you. You are not slippery. You really stay clear from equivocation. You don't use Weasle Words in your article. I really appreciate your help, and I think you are honest, down to earth, and you answer many questions instead of raising them. I really applaud you. What else? What else I should say to avoid Weasle Words about your job? You did an excellent job. I know where you are coming from, but one of my students really learned something from your articles. So I think this would help you move on and become an excellent English teacher too. If you happen to come to Korea, just contact me. I could help you settle in Korea comfortably. Thank you for reading, everybody. This is today's English daily reading.